Hello there, everybody. I'm so happy to introduce you to this wonderful lady, my friend, wise woman, healer, mother, also known as Gogo Sophia, Tsolofelo Mo Nare. Have I got that right?
Yes, perfect. That's perfect, Larissa. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to hear all about your Egypt trip, what it meant for you, what are you up to, how it felt, the energies, what you've received. Should just tell us.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to travel to Egypt. I mean, it was like it was just my dream, really. And when I travel anywhere, I haven't traveled to many places in the world. Um, but when I do have to travel, it is always divinely led. So I don't wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and and if I can tell you the divine synchronicities around this trip, um, and it happening, and one of the biggest things was I had to heal something that was ancient and was ancestral. And what a
So,
lot of people don't understand is that historically there are things that have happened in Egypt. So if you think about the systems that we live in right now as humanity, whether it's the debt system, the caste system, whether it's culture and tradition, whether it's a relationship between men and women, masculine and feminine, a lot of those things were seated in Egypt.
so you would say
Okay.
that was a calling to go back and heal those things. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
But
get it.
Larissa, it's like you first have to heal it within yourself.
Correct.
So I went to Egypt for me. Yes, I am a light worker and I hold sacred space for so many, beautiful people and communities. But I had to go to Egypt for me. And I believe that we first have to do it for ourselves.
Yes, you cannot heal if you're not healed.
Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely. So this was just a sacred pilgrimage to heal some of the because the body in itself holds these systems, these principles and these values that are outdated. And these principles are anchored within the ley lines of the earth, you know, because we as humans are connected to the earth is an infrastructure. It is just like our body is an infrastructure, right?
Right. Right.
Energetically. So there's something about the earth and us. The earth is like a mirror of who we are. And when we speak about sacred sites, we are talking about powerful vortexes
Yes.
within the earth itself that are, a kind of structure or a kind of container that anchors information, that anchors energy, and that broadcasts that energy to humanity to sustain a reality, a paradigm, um, a belief system, the things that we take on as humans. So those power places within humanity hold that for what it is that we desire. We are wanting to broadcast. We are wanting to birth. So the earth is an ally in that sense.
What I find beautiful here is it completely makes sense to me. And
Mhm.
the Giza plateau is right in the center of the land masses of the earth. So what a place to broadcast from, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But what is really interesting is Earth, because I predominantly work with Earth wisdom. So as humans, because we see ourselves as the center of the universe, right?
Yes, we do.
And so we tend to overlook the wisdom that the earth holds and the co-creation between humans and when I started working shamanically, and Larissa, you are a shaman, you're a shamaness, so you understand how when you become a shaman, the hierarchy between humans and say animals, nature, these sacred sites, there's a normalization that starts to happen, right?
Correct.
Like we become more equal.
Yes.
And
It's our
sometimes I
brothers and
like to
sisters.
say to exactly, right? It's not places that we can yield and control and have power over and use for our own purposes. These are spaces that carry their own identity, that are a divinity in their own right. And, they're broadcasting their own medicine, their own information, their own divine intelligence, a divine intelligence that co creates with us, that we're needing to have reverence and we're needing to honor those spaces as a divine intelligence that is co-creating with us as humans. And that's why we keep going there to the sacred sites. Yes, there are a lot of tourists, like you say, a lot of tourists, they go there, they want to take their fancy pictures and wear their best dress and say, "Woo, I've been, to the Giza Plateau." But more important than that, we are being called to these sacred sites to remember our relationship, remember our connection, remember that we are part of this bigger family,
Yes.
and become more intimate with these places, which unfortunately that intimacy has been taken away by technology, it's been taken away by infrastructure. How we just build highways and roads, and we don't take any consideration to the ecosystem of the space and the role that it plays, and we just take metal and we shard through the
Short
space.
food. Yeah, those are the right words. And dams. I mean, that the
Wow,
natural flow of the rivers. There's we are here to change that, right?
absolutely. We are. So I think that, everyone that gets called to, when you go to Egypt, you have to, you can't take that for granted.
No, it's not just going to the shop.
But there's also that, again, that reverence, knowing that you are going to a sacred space, a sacred place, allowing yourself to be small, allowing yourself to be humble, and allowing yourself to, yeah, just to be open and humble and receptive to the wisdom and the intelligence that resides there. Yeah.
So poetic. So tell us about what it meant for you. Because as we heal ourselves, we also heal humanity on the bigger scale. We do. We don't
Yeah, we
always see it like that, but we do.
yeah, we do. For me, it was very interesting. I was healing the father line I was healing my own inner patriarch, and the conflict that was going on with my parents, with my family, with my grandfather. And my grandfather's dynamic about being, that patriarch that held that power. And as a child, systemically coming from ancestors whose patriarch is very, on my father's side, very strong. And I really wanted to heal that patriarchal wound. And I had to travel to, there's a place called Abu Simbel.
Yes, I saw
And
your
it's on
pictures there.
the and it's on the border of Sudan. And as you know, with history, when you speak about the pharaohs and the kings, there's always this portrayal of the patriarch that's very like dominating and hard and powerful and sometimes destructive, sometimes controlling. And it's, as you know, is that. Egypt holds that very strong, intimidating patriarchal energy. But it was so important to me that when I did go to Abu Simbel, and you have the temple of who you call Amon Ra, who kind of predates Ra. So it is Ra, but it, Amon Ra predates, and he's connected to Kemet and the Nubian Empire. And
So I just
it
want to
was so
throw in
interesting.
here, Kemet is the ancient name of Egypt for those people who don't know. Just a little
Yes,
side note.
yes, thank you. Thank you for, yeah. So it was so interesting when I went to the temple of Amon Ra. Contrary to what Egypt had been for so many people, like I say, this hard, powerful patriarch. When I went to the temple of Amon Ra, there was a soft patriarch.
A balanced patriarch.
Wow. I mean, I was like, whoa, because you have the hieroglyphics, you have, you know, you have these sacred tombs, and I was just connecting. And it's something interesting about the hieroglyphics. It's almost like the art or the language of the hieroglyphics holds the essence of the being that they're portraying. And I feel like a lot of these beings, embedded their light, embedded their energy, embedded their memory. So for a lot of people, these hieroglyphics were just, okay, we went fishing. Da, 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 da.
There's
you
so
know,
much more in the symbolism.
right? And it's almost like you have to go there physically and to stand in front of these hieroglyphics and to really connect. So there's so much more than what is just painted on the wall, but energetically, so wow. So like I said, it was this soft, compassionate, loving, it's like, yeah, I am the patriarch. I am powerful, but I'm also very loving. I'm also very compassionate. I embrace the feminine. I co-create. I honor the feminine. And it was just so interesting that, we can go back to those power places within history, within humanity that still hold those codes, because it is important to know that our ancestors hold those codes.
Yes.
it's important to know that before the fall of humanity, before the destruction, before the wars, before the patriarchal dominance and control, and there was a masculine identity that predated all of that and was alive and living and in leadership and co-creating with the divine feminine. So what I can say about Egypt as a whole, in terms of every single place that I went to and why there was the fall of Egypt, because as the Egyptian empire was invaded so many times by the French, by the Greeks, by the Romans, but and she, yeah, she took quite a
It.
kind of quite a punch from all of these great empires. I mean, obviously because she held so much wisdom and technology and all of that. So everybody wanted to rule Egypt. But I think Larissa, and I don't want to sound even political or anything, but I think I think the world was threatened by Egypt because of the balance of the masculine and the feminine.
Yes. And the power that resides within the balance.
Absolutely. Right. Because it meant that people could not be controlled, people could not be governed, people could not be, yeah, you couldn't dominate beings. And, you couldn't dominate people that held the balance within themselves.
Because they're totally sovereign. Yes. That makes
So,
complete sense to me. Complete sense. Wow.
yeah.
So that's quite profound insight you gained. Egypt also had these amazing goddesses. Did you have any experiences with any of the goddesses?
Absolutely. Oh, Isis.
I love Isis. I've got a
Yeah,
relationship with Isis.
yeah, she's incredible. Isis. Aset, Isa. Yeah, so I traveled to Aswan, and it's beautiful because you're on the Nile. And there's these beautiful temples on the Nile, and there is a temple of Isis, the temple of Philae. And what was very interesting about that temple was, Isis was a goddess. She was a fiercely powerful, really a feminine deity that was really in her power and highly revered, especially by the Nubians. The Nubian Empire um, worshipped Isis. And it was so interesting that what you then start to see in the hieroglyphics is graffiti from the Coptic church.
Oh, yes. Don't they interfere?
Because you have again these hieroglyphics, which apparently are like spells, incantations, where you can chant these spells to awaken the goddess, to awaken her power. And so you have this graffiti from the Coptic church where a lot of these hieroglyphics were destroyed. They took rods, and they really broke. They destroyed the graffiti and vandalized it so that others would not get access to the information. But she told me that they were violating the feminine body through the graffiti. So the graffiti was like a spell that had been cast because Divine Mother Isis what she represents for women in their highest, in their power. And so to have, this church that predominantly, and we know this, right?
This, yes.
Where women are less than. Yeah, where women are less than. Where women are controlled, where women have to then play these roles and wear these robes. And that was how then they could break down the feminine. They could tear her down through the graffiti. But it is a spell, and it is a spell that is being cast. And there was something when I went there, when I witnessed that, I was able to then start to liberate myself from it because I could see where the root was. Image. And so I feel like there are these sacred signs. And don't get into the history. Get into, tune in, be present, be fully aligned, be open.
With your
And
heart,
be,
not your mind, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
And it, these sacred sites, they just talk to you. The hieroglyphics, they talk to you. Everything just talks. It communicates because you are, in your heart space. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I'm counting the days. I'm counting the days.
Oh,
I can't wait to live this, to really
wow.
live that, because I think there's a powerful message in there for us
Like,
that we
yeah.
can bring forth, and use. So the wisdom that you have gained, have you healed your male line?
You know what? We are healing lifetimes of trauma,
Yes. And there's
lifetimes.
layers.
And yeah, there are deep layers. So I feel like a certain, a layer of that has been peeled off. So it's a process, it's a journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tell me about the journey, and it's not always easy, is it?
No, no,
The
no, it's a
deeper the
process.
trauma, I also believe that we were once also male on this earth. So it is not them against us. It's humanity that needs to heal. Both
Absolutely.
the masculine and the feminine needs to heal from the atrocities, from breaking our souls apart. Really, that's how I feel it is. And making this world all cockeyed. I don't know even how to say it, because we're not living our potential in this state of trauma.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. I think that we have to choose that though.
You and
And we
I
can't.
did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a choice. I think that there is that within that split, we do have a choice of whether we choose to come back to ourselves authentically, or we choose to walk away from ourselves in the way that we did in the past. But it's incredible that you're doing this phenomenal work and you're guiding people, you're guiding others, because there does need to be the way showers or the light workers that can shine the light on what else is there, what else is possible, what else is. And I think that it is suffering brings us to that place where we are like, okay, there has to be something else
And
other than
something,
what's being mirrored to me.
yes, to awaken initially, it can become easier with time. And it does. The more work you do, the easier it becomes. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm really so looking forward to this trip I'm going with a very dear soul sister, amazing shaman, wise woman in her own right, Shakti Buttatsi, and the work she does is also phenomenal. So we are already in the group that's coming with us. They are such strong, beautiful women. So we see this happening as a symphony. Everybody has their part that is gonna unlock different codes and different keys for Egypt, for ourselves, and for humanity. We strongly
Mhm.
believe in that. We strongly believe that's going to happen. So I really enjoyed this when you went over and you were like an honorary Nubian. I loved that. I loved the joy on the people's faces when they interact with you. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was just so interesting because I'm like, are they calling me Nubian because I'm black? You know, because initially I'm just like, no, they're just like, are you black? You know, that's just like, you know, but as the time went by, I was like, no, they're literally sensing, they're like, no, home, no, sister, you've come home.
They sense.
You've come home to Kemet. You've come home, but but the joy, it was really like the joy, and but it was very interesting because prior to going to Egypt, I had visions of these triangles. So there were these triangles that were facing up, that were facing down, and they would sort of dance in my mind and in my head. And I'm like, okay, what is up with these triangles that I keep seeing everywhere? And, I don't know if you'll be traveling to Aswan, Larissa, but
Yes.
beautiful. But you will see that in the architecture, there is a lot of triangles. There's a lot of triangles. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. This is what I was like. This was, and I traveled to Elephantine Island, which is a Nubian island, which is a Nubian people. And the Nubian people are an interesting people in that, they've managed to kind of preserve a lot of their tradition and a lot of their culture. So with Nubia in itself, a lot of the Nubian history, the artwork, um, the Nubian cities had been destroyed by, flooding.
Flooding, the dams building.
Yeah. And so they literally have only been able to recover about 15% of what Nubia was.
Oh, that's very little.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so it was, very interesting because, I think that the Nubian people are sidelined in Egypt. Um, so yeah, it was they're very calm people, very loving, very soft natured people. And even the energy on, it's literally like there's the Nile, and on the one side you're in Aswan, and then you cross you cross the Nile on the other side on Elephantine Island. And it is a completely different energy, very feminine, very soft. um yeah, it was just very mystical and beautiful. And, the families are very warm, and, you get to eat this beautiful, amazing local food. And yeah, I had a beautiful connection. And I realized that the people of Nubia are very connected to art and the feminine, and expressing themselves through the feminine, through their feminine expression. So there is a lot of artwork embroidery, beading, pottery making. You know, the women really adorned themselves. You know, they were very connected to the earth. So those are the codes that I picked up. So, you know, we can either channel our energies towards war,
Mhm.
and I always feel like the energies that we channel towards war are the same energies we use to make art and to make love.
Wow. Okay. Well, explain that one, because to me,
Yeah,
I'll
no, it's
rather make art, be
exactly.
creative, but that's the feminine side.
Yeah, you know, so I felt like they embody that. It's like we're not gonna make war. We're gonna make art. We're gonna make beauty, you know, craft, and so those are the beautiful codes that I picked up from Nubia, from the Nubian people, and from being in that space. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Well, I can't wait to meet them. I hope they think I'm Nubian too. We'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you up to date. So, what is next for you? What are you busy with anything?
Well, you know, as you know, Larissa, like your work always evolves, and the more work you do on yourself, the more you start to, yeah, access more of yourself and just peel. And I've had to do a lot of peeling and a lot of, you know, letting go.
Heading. Yeah.
Yeah, shedding. And I'm I'm really just being called to be a sacred activist for the earth itself, to support humanity and communities to come into right relationship with the earth, when with the divine mother, with our feminine identity. It's time for our own inner patriarch to allow itself to be midwifed by by the feminine. You know, one of the greatest avatars that ever lived, Yeshua, completely surrendered to to this process through the womb of his mother, his divine mother, Mother Mary, and through the womb of his divine counterpart, Maria Magdalena.
Mhm.
And you know, as a traditional healer, as a sangoma, you know, that is the one of the untold stories of Africa and the technology of Africa and the wisdom of Africa. It is about Africa's connection to the mother, you know, because everything, you know, Africa is the birthplace of humanity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it holds those codes, those primordial codes of creation on this planet, and the wisdom of the feminine and the wisdom of the womb. And, you know, really what my work is about is earth wisdom. There are so many people on this planet that are struggling to be here right now because of so much that has happened, so much uncertainty. Wow, you know, so much fear. There are more souls that are leaving the planet right now than ever before. And I think that the reason why that is happening is that we have struggled to be intimate with the Divine Mother, be intimate with the earth, to be devoted to this planet, to be here. And so much of our time in humanity is to want to go back to some God in the clouds and do everything and anything to tick the boxes so that we can return to this Garden of Eden that we've been cast out of. And it is about recognizing that Earth is this Garden of Eden. Earth is Shambhala. And, you know, I know that I'm not sure if you know that I recently facilitated the Black Madonna retreat.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Very
I took
special.
I took some beautiful women to Dahlstrom. Also, it's to some sacred sites, some Bushman sacred sites as well, and we did some earth work, and we worked with our mother wound and our base chakra wounds around survival and around connecting with our bodies, being intimate with our bodies.
Embodying our bodies, with other words.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is about being intimate with the mother, and we've rejected her for the Father in heaven. And so that is part of that work, is about healing our relationship with our own divine mother and our own inner mother.
This is
And
so beautiful. It is so poetic. And now, by speaking with you, I can see why you are called Gogo Sophia. I am, because that really is you. It really is you, the Earth Mother.
yeah,
Mother
yeah,
Earth.
you, yeah. So that is me. I am so devoted
You
to the
are.
mother. Okay, I'm devoted. It is my path. It is my highest calling on this planet, is to be in service to the divine mother, to the earth, to all sentient beings. And in that process, inviting others to also awaken that love and that devotion to the mother, to the earth, and to her people, to her children, to recognize her children, the animal spirit, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, to recognize all of her children, all of her children. It's time for all of us to come together and divinely co-create together. Gaia,
Yes.
heaven,
Yes.
Eden,
And your Earth.
Shambhala. So yeah, so that is the work that I am facilitating. So if you want to be intimate with a mother, you want to heal with your ancestors, because ancestors need healing. So a lot of people are, a lot of people seek their ancestors to heal them. And I'm like, you don't understand how much your ancestors are needing healing
Through
themselves.
you. Through you. Right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So as humans, we do have this thing of wanting, give me, give me, give me. Now it's a time to give back.
Yes.
We are sick because we are not giving back. We are sick because we take, take, take. We are greedy.
We
And what is actually
disconnect.
going to help us to get better and to be well is to give back to the earth what we've
Yes.
taken, to give back to our ancestors,
Yes.
to become the portal for love to flow through us. That is what is going to heal us.
I can so see that in you. I can so
Mhm.
see that in you. Wow. So thank you so, so much. I would love to share your links down below after this post is posted. Um,
Yeah.
if people want to get in contact with this beautiful soul, so full of love, and would love to work with the earth energies, you're very, very, very welcome. I'm going to ask you to click on the links. I'm also putting my Egypt link down below if you want to experience with an open heart Egypt in a different way than tourists would. We only got time until Monday. We've only got a couple of places left, so please jump for that. And Tolofelo, from my heart, it was so nice connecting with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and blessings on the wonderful work you're doing. And I do believe we will be working together pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sending you so much love on your journey. So many blessings. Yeah. Yeah, my darling.
Thank you for watching, everybody.